forced the creation together. And I said, Brooke, now when he said that, I was thinking that he was going to say Ridge and Steffi, because, co-CEOs or whatever. But no, he's talking about Brooke. I said, he will forever include Brooke, I see. I had been seeing people say that. But y'all was right. Y'all was definitely right. But yeah, next week seems like it's going to be interesting. On today's episode, Taylor and Steffi were just talking about Ridge at the end of the episode. And I said, you're not supposed to propose. And I said, I guess Beth gonna marry them too, huh? Because then on next week's episode, they showed Bill saying that his wedding present to Katie is a fashion house. And I said, wait, now. I said, so is they gonna be in competition together or what? I said, so they gonna be going head to head or what? But yeah, he telling her he got her a fashion house. Hold on. I said, what if Eric get the designs to them? Excuse me. I said, what if Eric get the designs to them? He don't know what he want either. But the last thing that I was going to say before we dive into the review is that Sheila did not crash the reception, y'all. I know a lot of people were speculating whether or not she was going to come. I was waiting on it. But as I was like, she's not going to show up, y'all. I said, she's not going to show up. So the cliffhanger was just that Bill proposed. And he wanted to marry her right then and there. But hey, y'all, welcome back to another review of Life Chesses for the Bold and Beautiful December 12, 2025. First things first, what did y'all think of the episode? Let me know down below. Not too much happened. What was the highlight? I don't know if it was a highlight. Was it a highlight? I don't know. But okay, let's talk about it. I don't think it was nothing that was just 100% interesting to me. I liked it seeing Eric and Ridge talk, but it's like they still didn't come to know, understand it, did they? But yeah, it was basically the reception episode. They had officially been married. Everybody was just giving their toast and their speeches and stuff like that, talking about, how happy they are that they back together. And Deacon and Bill was talking about how now they have to get along for the sake of the kids. And I said, well, y'all been connected through the kids and y'all still was going at it. So I don't understand how this is supposed to help y'all stop doing stupid stuff. I don't think that this is going to help y'all stop beefing. I say leave it to them every holiday or something or event. People that want to sit up here and say, oh, yeah, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. We're going to get along for the sake of the family and the kids and stuff. Y'all ain't going to do nothing. Probably going to start arguing tomorrow. But no, like I said, they was just giving their speeches and everything. What happened after that? I think they was talking to Douglas. I think Leon was thanking him for being there. And Tom is back on next week's episode. And Steffi gonna be telling Hope she don't care if she's uncomfortable. Her brother's gonna be there. And she gonna say how her brother, deserve a spot as well. And I said, so they finna be divided. I said, if it's true, I know all I seen was that Bill supposed to be giving Katie, he said he gonna get her a fashion house for their wedding present or whatever. Now, I don't know until I see next week's episode, or we won't know until we see next week's episode what they talking about, because y'all know sometimes clips just show us certain things to make us think about certain things or think that the storyline will go a certain way. Excuse me. I'm trying to remember what else happened during the reception before we talk about everything else. I think they said that Hope and Liam went to spend time with the kids and stuff. People, did y'all see how y'all been seeing people saying how they felt like Kelly was done wrong and she should have been included more and stuff like that? It shouldn't have been just about Beth or whatever. And somebody said, well, that's their child, so of course. But I was like, I didn't see nothing wrong. She was the one who said she wanted to do it. She said she wanted to marry her parents. She ain't said nothing about including her brother or her sister. She said she wanted to marry her parents. Now, I will say, when they got up and they got done performing the ceremony and Beth and all them was hugging and stuff, I was expecting them to have Douglas and Kelly come too, because that's their family as well. That's their family as well. I was waiting on that. Other than that, I didn't see nothing wrong with, her performing the ceremony. They was also talking about how the actress that plays Kelly, how she was looking and stuff like that. And I said, okay, now y'all overanalyze stuff. Yeah, I said, y'all is overanalyzing everything. And I know I do that sometimes with their facial expressions. I be doing that too, though. But yeah, I think the end of the scene for that was Will was talking to Lecture and Katie, and Bill was just watching them and talking about their love. And that's when Bill started talking about he want to spend forever with Katie. I said he about to propose. You don't propose to nobody during nobody else's wedding. They gone and everything, but still. This time he want to get married right then and there. But yeah, he proposed to Katie or whatever. She didn't give her answer, so I'm assuming Monday is when she going to give her answer. And based on the preview, she's supposed to say yes. But yeah, that's all that happened with them. Like I said, Taylor and Steffi were just talking about Eric and Ridge. Steffi tells Taylor Ridge feels guilty about the retirement party, and Taylor was just talking to her about that. Steffi revealed that Eric had showed up. She was like, I don't know why he would stop by. I said, see, y'all need to make up y'all mind. Y'all said he can stop by. Why you got to tell y'all when he stopped by? But yeah, I think that's all they was really talking about. I think one of her patients had got sick, so she wasn't able to do a therapy session with them. Eric and Ridge was talking. Ridge tells Eric he didn't mean to hurt him. If he wants to be there, he could be there. And he ends up telling him how he wants to finish the line together. Eric says no. No. I said, no. You done did all this and you telling me you don't want to do it. So now I'm wondering if he gonna give these doggone designs to somebody else, or if they even gonna address the fact that he just designed a whole line. But yeah, he talking about some no or whatever. He doubting himself because he feel like Ridge was right. He ends up telling Ridge that Forrester creation is his legacy too. What else? He ends up saying how he doesn't know what he want anymore. Let's see, poor baby is confused. Poor baby confused. Y'all don't confuse him. He knew exactly what he wanted before y'all try to force him to retire. Said that maybe it's time that Ridge runs things without him. That maybe it's time to run the company. I said it wrong. Maybe it's time for Ridge and Rook to run the company. And I said, he's still on this Brooke stuff. I said, he's still on this Brooke stuff. I said, I thought for sure he was going to say Steffi when he was like, it's time for you. And I was like, Steffi. He's talking about some Brooke. I said, might as well. She over here acting like she in charge anyways. But yeah, I don't see, like, it don't matter. Because at first, didn't they say Ridge was, he was struggling to handle certain things. So that's why he got Brooke to do it. Then Steffi was saying how things was too much for her. So, but they bringing in Thomas again. Deke is there. But I feel like they finna do it. Logan versus Forrester. I don't know, y'all. Well, Logan Spencer versus Forrester or whatever. But I don't know, y'all. We should see. What else? Let's see. Deacon said Bill and him gonna leave. Gonna have to get along now for the kids. Bill asked Katie to marry him. We talked about that. On next week's episode, he said he giving Katie her own fashion house. Tom's supposed to be back. Hope's supposed to be uncomfortable. Was there anything else that they showed on the preview for next week's episode? I can't remember. But yeah, this should be interesting, y'all. That's it. That's all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces. Have a great rest of the day, a great weekend. Be safe.